Most homemade engines are extremely simple, but in the last few months I've been trying to design something way more ambitious. An 8-valve dual overhead cam individual carburetors water-cooled using a mechanical water pump with a positive crankcase ventilation system, 250cc 4-stroke engine. This thing has over 130 individual components, making it the most complicated engine I've ever attempted to build so far. And now it's finally time to see if all of these parts would actually work together. Starting with the crankcase. We have a multi-part crankcase printed out of PLA+. I've also introduced these dowels that are gonna ensure we have a perfect fit between the two parts of the crankcase. The upper crankcase also has an inlet and an outlet for the PCV system. On the intake side we have a one-way valve, an O-ring and a filter to make sure the air that goes inside the crankcase has no debris. When it comes to the outlet, I'm using a centrifugal separator that's gonna separate the oil and air, and it's gonna return the oil inside the crankcase. And this is what the PCV system looks installed. Now for the next step we are gonna turn on the Carvera air, and we are gonna slap this piece of aluminum in it, and we are gonna let the machine do its job. After around 20 minutes this is what I ended up with. Not bad at all, but let me tell you what I'm actually gonna use these pieces for. First of all, they have a structural role, because the cylinder sleeve is gonna sit right on them. But more important, they are gonna act like heat shields, protecting the crankcase from the heat of the cylinder sleeve. With the aluminum supports installed, all that was left was to install the top part of the crankcase. And this is what I ended up with. But there's one part missing. That's right, the crankshaft. This is one of the parts that requires microscopic precision, and as always PCBWay had my back. CNC machined out of alloy steel, giving it the extreme fatigue resistance it needs to handle high RPM, and the finish is 10 out of 10. All I had to do to get an instant price quote on my parts was to upload my files on PCBWay's website, select the quantity, material and surface finish, and that's how simple it is to get an instant price quote. I designed these parts with a press fit in mind, so I had to heat some parts up for them to expand and freeze others that needed to shrink. Because of that, there was zero room for error, but the tight tolerances provided by PCBWay were absolutely on point. But besides CNC machining, PCBWay also offers a lot of other services, like sheet metal fabrication, 3D printing out of all sorts of materials, injection molding, and as the name says, PCB fabrication. So if you also want to bring your projects to life, make sure you check out PCBWay using the link in the video description. Once again, a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video and making these projects possible. Also, I had to make sure everything is square and the crankshaft rotates through, and we are running a 0.02mm runout, which is definitely in the cards. Also, I'm running bigger bearings due to the increased size of the engine. I'm also gonna run these seals, so hopefully we're gonna have no oil leaks. Okay, so with the crankshaft and the crankcase ready, all I had to do was get them together. One important thing I forgot to mention, the crankshaft has a 180 degrees offset between the pins. This whole engine has some extreme tight tolerance. I'm running under 1mm between the cheeks of the crankshaft and the crankcase, so if the crankshaft flexes even a little bit, we are gonna hear it. With the crankshaft ready, it's now time to start working on the cylinders. Once again, we have a multi-part assembly. The main part of the cylinder body was 3D printed using Elego's ASA, and for the top part that comes in direct contact with the hot head, I've used carbon fiber reinforced nylon. As you can tell, the cylinder body has a built-in water pump housing, and these are the internals of the water pump printed out of ABS. And after putting all the components together, this is what the impeller looked like. I also installed the 6000 RS bearings and the water seal, and I got it installed in the water pump housing. To make sure we are not leaking any water, I also designed the water pump cap with an O-ring slot. Now that we have the cylinder body ready, it's time to start working on the cylinder sleeves. For that, all I have to do is cut the stainless steel pipe to length, plane it and make sure we have a flat surface so we don't lose any compression. And after a lot of sanding, this is what I ended up with. And this is what they look press-fitted inside the cylinder body. From this angle, you can also see the holes that will let the coolant flow from the cooling jacket to the head. Talking about the head, let's start working on it. Everything starts with a piece of aluminum strapped inside the Carvera Air. And after about 2 hours of machining time, I ended up with this, the most complex part I've ever machined. We have a really complex cooling pad, designed to keep the temperatures as low as possible. Valve seats with a really precise angle. Spark plug ports. The next step was threading the spark plug ports. With the aluminum plate ready, next part was printing the mid-head out of carbon fiber reinforced nylon. We are running an 8 valve setup, 17mm valves, intake and exhaust ports designed with high flow and high RPM in mind. We also have a coolant inlet that's gonna guide the fluid inside the pads in the aluminum head. Next up, I'm gonna put these two parts together using gasket maker. While the head cures, we are gonna talk about the cams. I've designed them to be modular for ease of printing. The exhaust cams are printed out of ABS and the intake comes out of PLA+. They are gonna run on 6903 bearings. And after installing all the accessories, this is what the cams look like. And with this, the head is almost ready. There is one little important thing left to do, and that's lapping the valve seats. To make sure the valves are gonna hold compression properly, I'm lapping them using a homemade compound. To test the seal, I usually grab some water and I fill up the ports I wanna test. And if the valve seat is bad, this is what you're gonna see. Those little drops tell me we need to do more lapping because the valve seat is not sealing properly yet. And this is what a proper seal looks like. As you can tell, when the valves are closed, the head is dry. It's only when you open the valves you realize the ports are full of water. With the head ready, it's time to start working on a head gasket. And to help me with that, Creality actually stepped in and sent me one of their new machines, the Creality Falcon A1 Pro. Since every part of my engines is custom made, even simple things like gaskets had to be made from scratch. So instead of trying to cut everything by hand, I import my files into the laser cutter and I get the perfect gasket every single time. So if you would also want to check out the Falcon A1 Pro, make sure you click the link in the video description. Big thank you to Creality for all the support. Now that gasket is gonna make sure we are not gonna lose any coolant. But for the next step, we are gonna need to seal the compression. And for that I'm gonna use a technique mostly used in race cars, the copper sealing rings. So I got the copper plate strapped in the Carvera Air. And after around 10 minutes of machining, this is what I ended up with. Two rings that are gonna ensure we are not losing any compression. Now let's see how everything works together. First of all, we have the gasket that's gonna keep all the coolant in. And the second part are the copper compression rings. Well, all that's left is to put all the parts together. When it comes to the ignition, I'm running a dual breaker system, each cam controlling the ignition timing on each cylinder, using individual Dacia 1310 coil packs. When it comes to the flywheel, I'm running a 1.7 kilograms BMW E90 brake disc that was adapted for this application. On the intake side of the engine, I'm running the sketchy fuel tank attached to the ceiling, individual PZ19 carbs, with the intake runners covered in epoxy so we don't lose any vacuum. Now let's turn the engine a couple of times without spark or fuel to check if it actually holds compression. Well, my drill can barely get the engine through the compression stage, so that's definitely a good sign. With everything installed, I think all that's left is to try to actually start this bad boy. Also, keep in mind, this was the very first crank. Damn, this engine sounds amazing, but I've noticed a couple problems. First of all, if you look closely, you're gonna see oil dripping out of the PCV system air filter. After taking a closer look, I realized I installed the one-way valve backwards. So that was an easy fix. And the next thing I did was to actually try to sync the carbs. So let's try to start the engine and actually rev it. I feel like it kinda sounds like a V-twin. Let's hear it one more time. Well, there we have it guys, a fully functional 3D printed inline 2 4-stroke engine. I did more tests on the engine, but I'm gonna show you this last clip where it developed a misfire on cylinder 1. The engine actually survived even the last run, but it developed a misfire on cylinder 1 and I don't wanna damage the crankshaft, so I'm gonna stop testing. As you can tell, it still has compression. So yeah, once again a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, to Creality for sending me that absolute unit of a laser. Thank you for watching guys and see you in the next one.